Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is our subsequent series of Dream Crime. So if you're new to this channel, please remember to subscribe. And those who subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell for continuous reminders and notification of our Dream Crime episodes. So I was feeling exhausted today. I was wondering, should I really do this? Should I not do this? Should I just skip it? And I remember my 34 subscribers. And yes, I'm like, yes, I'm here for you guys. You're amazing and you're the reason why I do this. So, down to business. On our subsequent series today, of Dream Crime, we will be looking at the case of Natalia Grace. Was she a child? Was she a woman? I will leave you, the viewers, to deliberate on that. So this is a very intricate case, very, very, very complicated. But was the Barnett family the villain? Were they the victims? Was Natalia Grace a villain? Was she a victim? Be the judge. Just stay tuned to make the deliberation at the end of our episode. Natalia Grace versus the Barnett. Our story begins with a couple, Christine Barnett and Michael Barnett, eager to adopt a young child into their family. The couple already had 3 children of their own, but adopting a young one into their family was the family's dream. They were finally able to adopt a young Ukrainian girl, Natalia Grace, whom they believed to be 6 at the age of their adoption. Natalia Grace, the adopted daughter, is said to have had a rare form of dwarfism, which affects bones in one's spine and can consequently cause immobility. After about 2 years after the adoption, the Barnett filed a motion the Marion County Superior Court regarding Natalia's age, whereby a judge ordered her birth year changed from 23 to 1989, making her 22 instead of 9. Among Christine Barnett's claims included Natalia threatening to stab her while Michael and her were asleep, an attempt to pour bleach in her coffee, and Natalia trying to push her onto an electric fence. Therefore, at this point, the allegations would suggest that not only were they dealing with an adult masquerading to be a child, but a psychopathic individual at that, which was quite a horrific experience if at all the allegations were true. After the judge's order, the Barnetts put Natalia up in an apartment in Lafayette, Indiana, and paid for her rent, hired a caregiver to check on her thrice a week, and put grocery. Upon which, the family moved to Canada, leaving Natalia behind. The family's son, Jacob Barnett, who has been described as a gifted child, was going to university at the age of 14, and the family didn't want to leave him alone in a new country, and since he was really young to be on campus, hence the move. It was about September 11, 2019, a year after the Barnetts had left Natalia behind, when they were charged with 2 counts of felony neglect of a dependent. It was around this time that the case gained media attention. Christine and Michael Barnett, since divorced at the time, faced the public scrutiny, with the public opinion divided as to whether they were villains or victims. The villain perspective saw them as 2 adults who adopted a special needs kid, abandoned her in the pursuit of the blood son's university pursuit, whereas the victim perspective saw them as adults who were duped by a woman who sought to gain from the adoption system due to age ambiguity. A feature by Dr. Phil on the case at the time made the audience see things from Natalia Grace, the adoptee's perspective, where she claimed to be a child, not an adult, as presumed by the Barnett. Her new adoptive mother also dismissed Christine Barnett's claim that Natalia Grace was having her periods, which she stated Natalia had never had her periods. Dr. Phil was of the opinion that Natalia Grace was indeed a child and not an adult, and that the Barnetts had deceived the public. With the strange twists and turns, the big question that still stayed in the public domain was Natalia a child? Was she an adult masquerading to be a child? Our latest update, August 2020, in the Barnett case, has since seen the neglect charges based on Natalia Grace as a minor duly dismissed. In the eye of the law, Christine Barnett's motion to dismiss Natalia's birthday by a Marion Superior Court settled the issue. Therefore, the Barnetts were freed of the obligations of tending to Natalia. So, million-dollar question to the audience is, do you think Natalia was a child? Or was she an adult masquerading to be a child? Now down to overview and analysis. In this case, we see two sides. We have the Barnett side, and under the Barnett side, we have the Natalia Grace side. But these are two opposing, very conflicting, and we're almost similar. I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't really able to come up with, was she a child, was she a woman? But I really need help from you guys today. So, Natalia Grace, we see if she was a child, if she's an actual child, then this was a very bad case of injustice, because leaving a child who is disabled cannot do anything for themselves, because when you're a dwarf and you can't get to the normal sized house, that was an injustice to her. On the other side, we see the Barnett family. If all the claims were legitimate, and Natalia Grace was at risk to the family with so many psychopathic tendencies, then it becomes a very, very complex factor, because here we see a family trying as best as it could to provide for this the little girl that they had adopted. So, but if at all the claims, if the court initially deliberated likely that she's not a child, then I cannot see why I put a blame. They took the necessary legal steps to ensure that Natalia would be provided for, even though after they were gone, even after the court had deliberated, the likely she was a child, because they still saw her as their dependent. On the other side, if at all it's true that Natalia is actually a child, you can see the state of confusion, the panic. But then there's another question: how was she able to spend 1 year alone in the house? Because it took 1 year for her to meet this new family that eventually brought the lawsuit against the Barnetts. So I don't understand. Okay, there was some help from a kid. Maybe she can use that to her defense. And at the same time, well, it's a very complex case. I'm not really able to pinpoint if this is a child, if this is a woman. And the complexity of this case is what led to a great section of the world wondering, oh my God, what's happening to this case? This likely similarities of this real life case to a movie called The Orphan, which actually has the same story of a 33-year-old woman who pretends to be a child and infiltrates herself into a family as an adopted child. So, and she also actually does the same almost psychopathic things that Natalia is purported to have done to the Barnetts. It's a very complex story. And for the first time, There are times I would feel for Natalia Grace. There are times I would feel for the Barnett family. I could not actually think a point. Was the Barnett family right? Was Natalia Grace legitimately a child left alone, abandoned by adopted family who went ahead to Canada for the sake of the gifted child who would actually now moved to, who was going to university, and they thought that he was too young to go along. Was she a abandoned child? Was she a woman who was masquerading to be a child? That I don't know. That I'll leave for you my views today. Was she a child? Was she a woman? Comment on the section below and maybe give us your little analysis of your own. With that marks the end of our overview and analysis. To like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I love you guys.